He's a Mississippi native. He attended Southern Mississippi
I believe
University.
So. I believe so.
I think Southern Mississippi.
Believe
I had
so.
to write this stuff down, y'all. Y'all know I never write stuff down, but I don't know these folks. So, and he's accused of a welfare scandal in Mississippi, misappropriating roughly $77 million. He has not been criminally charged, and he denies knowledge of the money coming from a welfare, of knowing about the money coming from a welfare.
Right.
So, and some other things that weren't so nice about him is that he struggled with addiction for much of his adult life. In 1996, the NFL banned him from drinking alcohol after revealing his addiction to painkillers.
I know that.
And it was the center of much controversy at that time.
Okay.
Right. Peace, family. Peace. We are now live.
I don't know.
Excited to be on tonight's live. Haven't had the brother Billy call.
Somebody just jumped. That was weird. Because it ain't
really
it ain't been on. Your phone ain't been on. You ain't touched your phone.
Nothing. Okay.
You see them pop up.
They playing with it. See what happens when we start talking about this stuff?
Yeah, we start talking about some stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this over there.
That's funny.
That
it just you ain't
crazy.
touched your phone since you
I
put it
have
there
not
for like 10
touched
minutes.
I have not touched it.
Anyway, all right, go
But
ahead.
in 1996, that was a high controversy for him.
Right.
So this is not his first round in the rodeo.
Yes.
And he, in May of 2020,
Okay.
the Mississippi State Auditor's Department announced to the Department of Human Services the Department of Human Services wasted tens of millions of dollars
Right.
meant for
Welfare money.
That's meant
right.
for needy families.
Right. Right.
And the misspent funds included state officials, bureaucrats, celebrity sports figures, including Favre, and six people face criminal charges.
Right.
5 of which pled guilty. Mind you, he hasn't faced any criminal charges.
Nobody.
Well, you got to listen to the whole thing.
I'm listening.
So more than $98 million to the Mississippi Community Education Center and the Family Resource Center of North Mississippi. These are the 2 organizations that this money was funneled through.
Right.
Right. Most of it came from the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families federal grant that the feds give that to different states for the needy in their state. More than $77 million was improperly used from the state's welfare program through the nonprofits, spending on expensive cars, private schools, pet projects of celebrities, and the politically connected.
So that was a pet project for a celebrity. He would go into that.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Right. Mississippi Community Education Center paid him $1.1 million directly for promotional ads and speaking appearances that never occurred. Favre returned $500,000 in May of 2020,
but not all of them.
And he repaid the remaining $600,000 in October of 2021.
Okay.
He still owed $228,000 in interest. But he paid back the $1.1 million.
He's gonna go to court over that interest.
Yes, he is. So what he's guilty of, he allegedly asked the state for funds to build a new volleyball stadium at the University of Southern
where his
Mississippi,
daughter was going.
where he played football, and his daughter now plays volleyball.
Right. So something specifically for his child.
Right.
Okay.
So at least $5 million of the welfare funds was channeled to the new facility.
That's right. Right.
6 were charged with wrongdoing, as I said earlier. 5 pleaded guilty. Nancy New, the founder of the nonprofit, pleaded guilty to bribery, fraud, mail fraud, and racketeering.
Okay.
Her son, who is the executive director, pleaded guilty to bribery, fraud, and mail fraud. And Brett DeBaez, I'm not sure if I'm saying his name correctly. He's a former professional wrestler, and he received some of the funds for fake work. DiBiase.
Yeah.
He received money for some fake work and pleaded guilty to making fraudulent statements. So the Mississippi State Department filed a civil suit against 35 people and entities, including Favre and Mississippi Education Center, to recover some of the funds. So that's what he's guilty of.
Right.
Now, I I'm not a lawyer.
Right.
I don't know what specifically he can be guilty of. He didn't have a hand in doing any of that.
He did.
He didn't work for any of
He
the
didn't.
entities. He wasn't the person designated to move any money. So
it was all.
It's very
I got what you're saying. He would. I'm gonna say this in street terms: conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
And they have them on that.
Well,
they have them with text messages.
The text messages said there's a text message for because the governor assisted him in this project. Right. Him and Miss Nancy knew. Specifically the text messages said he wanted them to help him with this project. The governor asked Nancy, is it possible that they help them with this project? Nancy said she can do what she will do what she can. Now there are.
He had, wait a minute, real quick. He had a text message that actually he asked, is there any way that this can get traced back to me? That's the conspiracy right there. He asked if it can get traced
back to him. Nancy said, no, that's not what we do.
So he knew where it was coming from.
The governor said, he was pushing the governor to get it done. And the governor said, the restrictions around this money is tight and we have to make sure we do it right. We haven't gotten the approval yet. As soon as we get the approval, I'll let you know. And he joked and said, I'm too old for federal prison.
Right. They knew what they were doing.
He said, I'm not doing that. He said, we're going to get this approved properly.
The governor was looking for a loophole to spend welfare money. But all in all, he didn't find a loophole.
No, he didn't.
What he was doing was, when he was typing that text message or that email, he was covering his ass. That's what he was doing.
To say, I let them know.
Right. I got to do certain things to get there, but we can't do it now. So but it came out that he covered his ass, but everything has come out now that he is the issue.
But
the governor
still has not been criminally charged.
But he should. But okay. So all right. So on that note, the media, they spoke on it. They definitely didn't go in on Brett Favre and bring up back history and ask the question, why isn't he charged when all the other co-people that are involved were charged and pled guilty?
Let me say this. They didn't report it. They did it. They wrote it. But what we have a habit of doing is watching the news, seeing the clips and the highlights of what they report and run with that and don't dig anymore.
Okay.
They had a whole deep dive history. My source is CNN.
Right.
They had a whole deep dive history, specifically highlighted everything, each and every step of the way, and every source that I looked at had it reported. But we don't go read newspapers anymore. We don't go read on Google or whatever source newspaper website. We don't do that anymore. We watch the news and take the clips and the highlights from what they're reporting, and we know they're going to speak on it.
That's in my notes as far as we have to when we do get sensationalized by a story or we catch those emotions, we do need to go to a different source and we need to read a little bit deeper. We have to have a clear understanding that the media is very biased.
Yeah.
They're
not telling the whole story.
They're not going to tell the whole story.
But they also know we're not reading.
They know we're not reading. They know we're not digging into stories. Right now we're in a society, we're on a 3-minute clip.
That's it.
If it's longer than 3 minutes, a lot of people scrolling if it's longer than 3 minutes. That's just what it is.
We take the clip and go about our business.
We can't get emotional about stuff if we choose not to dig and get more information on the things that we want to be quote unquote equal in that way. And I agree 100% that Kyrie and Favre's issues being in the past, and he's not a player at this time in the NFL.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's been retired for some years. So I understand the difference, but I also understand if that would have been a Michael Jordan or would have been
he would no longer be in the Hall of Fame.
Right. Then now I swear I've been waiting for somebody to say, why isn't he being challenged to being in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah. He's not being challenged.
He's not being challenged on any level.
They're laying out what he did and bringing up his past. He's not being challenged.
There's no stress on him.
There's no stress.
There's
He,
none.
he at home waiting for the verdict to come out. Not even about him, because he has not even been.
He hasn't been
criminally
charged.
And because he hasn't been criminally charged, no one can really go after him like that. I mean, we can talk about it.
No,
no one goes.
No, but even like you just said about money, it would be people coming on nightly saying, why hasn't he been charged? We've seen cases where less, and people have had to, all of that would have come up. And then the Hall of Fame would definitely be on the chopping block. It's just what it is. If it was an athlete that didn't look like Brett Favre.
Now switching over to Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
He hasn't even done anything criminally.
He didn't do nothing.
Anything criminally. Let's talk about him. So he's an NBA player for Brooklyn Nets. He originally came on with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He was named Rookie of the Year after being selected in 2011 in the NBA draft. First overall pick. He's 30 years old, born in Australia. He doesn't have anything close to what the history and everything that Brett Favre had. He has not had the opportunity to have such a history. What did he do? He posted a link to the film Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America.
Right.
A 2018 film by Ronald Dalton Jr. The film was said to contain anti-Semitic tropes, Holocaust denial, and claims of an international Jewish conspiracy. It was based on a Black Hebrew Israelite book of the same name, also written by Dalton. Right. He sent the link. He didn't
talk about it.
About the link, he didn't talk about it. But the problem I saw that as to what he did to offend anybody is that he denied for a week after posting the link. He declined to apologize.
No, but wait a minute. This is the kicker. I don't. Was it a week after? I thought the tweet was from like a couple years ago or something. It's an old tweet.
The movie's old. The tweet wasn't old.
Okay.
The movie was old. The tweet was rather new.
Okay.
And so as a result of him offending that community, he was subsequently suspended by his team for posting the link.
And they gave him a list of stuff to do.
Right. He declined to apologize or say that he held no anti-Semitic beliefs, prompting them to suspend him indefinitely. Right. He has since apologized. Nike condemned hate and anti-Semitism and ended their relationship with Irving. NBA commissioner met with Irving and indicated that he didn't believe Irving was anti-Semitic, but it wasn't relevant to the damage caused by his tweeting of the link.
Wait a minute, let me tell you real quick on the link. On TikTok, this is the DG show with Dana and Coco right now. We're live on TikTok, The Angry Black Dude, live on YouTube, The Angry Black Dude, and live on Facebook, The DG show with Dana and Coco. But on TikTok, Jay of Arc just said, Amazon is not pulling the movie. Remember that Amazon
is not pulling the movie. We said that. So why is he taking all of this
But remember,
backlash?
when he was getting a backlash, Amazon said, we'll take it into consideration.
And they can't, and they're not taking
and they said,
it
no, it's making us money now. Which thank you for the marketing.
Right.
Thank you for the marketing.
Pretty much.
So, but they not getting in trouble. Nobody's talking about boycotting Amazon. Nobody's talking about shutting down Amazon. Nobody's talking about finding Amazon or making Amazon do certain things to make sure that Jeff Bezos is not racist or not. I take that back. Not racist, anti-Semitic. Racism, okay.
Right.
Understand that. Racism is okay.
Yeah.
It's anti-Semitism that gets you canceled.
Now, also looking at it's not Irving's first round at the rodeo per se. Like I said, he never did anything criminal.
Right.
He suggested that the world was flat. I don't know why he was in.
But what they got to do
for that?
Yeah.
And he refused vaccination.
That's what it was. That's what it was. He was the only one on the team, and he bucked. He might have been the only one in the whole NBA, maybe.
But now, maybe one thing that I read, and I can't say my source. I hate to say stuff I can't say. But one thing that I read is that as a result of him getting in trouble for not getting vaccinated, they owe him lot of money.
From what I heard, it's like it might be upward towards like 50 mil or something crazy.
They owe him
Because
a
now
lot of
remember
money.
now that in New York State, because that was the law they were following,
Mhm.
or the policy that they put in place because of the pandemic.
Right.
Now, because of that, he couldn't play because he didn't get the jab. He
Right.
said no.
Right.
So once he did that, they docked his pay per se. You might as well
Right.
say.
Yes.
Remember, some folks in New York lost their jobs.
Yeah, a lot
Well,
of people,
right now they're getting their
they're getting
jobs back
and
with
back pay.
back pay.
Yes.
That's him.
Yeah.
Believe his lawyers on it.
Yeah.
Believe they were looking for a reason to cancel him
Yeah.
and give him this uppity mother. I can't.
Now you may know some more things, but he was suspended for 5 games, but he missed his 6th game for reasons undisclosed.
Okay.
Now I found this part interesting. So recently he posted that I was not put here on earth to participate in any religious political wars or incite racial disharmony or prejudice within communities. He stated that. He had met with how do you say their name? Ty and his wife Clara, the owner and co-owner of the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Right. He met with them and they said, we spent quality time to understand each other. And it's clear to me that Kyrie does not have beliefs of hate towards Jewish people or any groups. He went on to say later that Kyrie had work to do before he could play again.
Wow.
So we don't know where he's staying with that. He did his 5 games. He didn't show up for the 6th game.
So the owner said that.
Yes.
That Kyrie has work to do.
Yes.
Wow. So
playing again.
So just listen to what he said, and then listen
to what he didn't say.
No, but he actually was saying, yeah, I don't think Kyrie this. I don't think Kyrie that.
Right.
I know he's not this, but
he has some.
He's still got to do some shit.
Right.
To be able to get back on the court.
I think Kyrie jumped in a game he knew nothing about. This whole political.
Not the political part. Yeah. I agree. He didn't think it was going to be this much.
He didn't think. Not that he didn't think it was going to be this much. I believe he was innocently tweeting, hey, y'all need to watch this.
It was innocent.
It was innocent.
I agree. He was, like he kept saying, he just wanted his people to see something different, to learn in a different way, to see a different perspective about what we've been learning about all this time, the Bible.
He's not that guy. I don't think he was sitting back watching that movie saying, oh,
right,
this might be. Because now what I will compare this to is Nick Cannon.
Okay.
We can compare it to Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
But Nick came
out,
apologized. Nick was very well versed on what he knows.
What he was talking about.
He's a very educated guy, very intelligent guy. And so what he did was he came out and apologized, and he went about his business to be educated more about that community, what their beliefs are, spend time with them, go work with them and do some things. So he took that time to do that. Right. So he was accepted back. Now, can't say the same for Kyrie.
But I'm going to say, in my opinion, Nick Cannon has more strings on him than Kyrie.
Yeah.
Right, because of the different contracts and the different shows. And let's remember, Nick Cannon actually thought he could leave with his show before he apologized. Right. He actually acknowledged, I can't leave with my show. He acknowledged that was an issue with him. So in my opinion, that's why he was apologetic. That's why he sat down the way, because remember when he came.
They said that he's not the go along, get along kind of guy.
Right. He came with insults. He was
even after he sat down with them, he didn't just,
that's what I'm saying.
That's not what he did. Right. And that's not what he's doing. But he fixed it.
Yeah, he did. He fixed it for business.
Right.
He fixed
it because all of this is about business. You think they just really going on a hook like this about religion? Really? That's what you think?
No, it's a control factor.
Yes.
Specifically with the community that we're talking about. It's a control factor, and they need the narrative to be what they want the narrative to be. And if it's not, it's a problem. And because they're in control of a lot of industry, the problem becomes big.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of all of this.
But see, Nick bring in a lot.
Yeah, he bringing a lot of money.
He bring in.
Oh, no. Let me tell you something. When Nick did that, I want to say he did an interview with Professor Griff and let out a lot of stuff talking about that community and things of that nature. Now, I promise you, those that have contracts with him was like, please, no, we need him. Not mad about, we need him. We expected him to run this for another 5-6 years.
Right.
We expect him to, you know what I'm saying, do this for another 10 years.
You know what I like though? Because a lot of this, like we said, all of this is about business, right? A lot, just, and so many people you have in this industry, they have next up. This one's next up.
Yeah.
They offered next up to DC Fly.
And he said, no.
He said, nah. He said, my dude gave me an opportunity, and I'm not going to do that to him.
I'm not going to step in his spot.
That was big.
Right.
That was big. He hasn't even started in the industry yet, really. And he gave it up. Because
he showed his character from the
go.
And this is another thing that I know he's thinking about. Well, if they was going to give me that, and I said no to that, they should have been ready to give me something else. They could still
give me something anyway.
It should have been in the works already if they thought that I could do that.
Right.
My show should have been in the works.
But he got next.
Oh no, he got listen, he's gonna be
definitely got next.
He got to get rid of the tattoo though.
He don't have to get rid of it, and he's not. It's part of who
it's gonna be
he
the makeup. No, they're gonna be making it up.
I mean, he do the makeup, but it's part of who he is.
It is. It
what got him there.
Yeah, I agree. It gave him some attention.
He got there on all of this goofy stuff.
Yeah.
He's not a goofy dude.
He's matured. Yeah. No, he was younger, but he's maturing well.
And it's not even about mature. He got in there the way he got in there, period.
But he's a businessman.
He's a businessman.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's not even about maturity. He's showing himself now.
Yeah.
He was always that, because he wouldn't have been where he is if he wasn't.
I agree with that. I agree.
He's always been that. So, I mean, that man is talented. He can sing.
Talented. I didn't know he could sing, but he's very talented. He's definitely very talented.
Yeah, he's very talented. So I don't even think it was a maturity thing. He knows what he's doing.
Right. You're listening to the DG show with Dana and Coco. Dana is on hiatus. But we're talking about hot topics. We're getting ready to switch up in a few minutes and get into this Deon Sanders. But I want to make sure we got out. Media bias. So I was just looking up into stuff, and I came across a guy named DJ Kid from South Carolina. Jason Robert Pope is his name. White DJ. I believe he's a hip hop DJ, but he's been charged with trafficking minors and rape and kidnapping and all of that, right? From what I understand, this happened the arrest was in 2020, and it wasn't a big deal, but for what I understand, it involves over 400 women or kids, but they're all Black. They're all Black girls and women. And that media bias, that type of stuff. But I'll say this, it was in the South Carolina news because it had to be.
Right.
It would not go national because they would have his face everywhere.
It didn't go national at all.
It did. I'm not going to say at all, because like you said, you can find, you go to somebody's site or you dig for a story, it might be there, but when it was prevalent, how many seconds did it get in prime time?
I hadn't heard about that. I don't watch the news, but I do read national news.
Okay.
I do read national news.
Someone told me to start looking at international news, because
I read international
news. When you see how Iran's media does a story versus China does a story versus America does a story versus an African nation does a story, you might get the truth. You know what I'm saying? Out of all of it, because everybody's going to be their own
but
angle.
It still leaves us with a narrative, to a conclusion to come to what our perception of it is, and we all we can do is infer to what we're reading, to what we're seeing, to what's being presented to us. That's all we can do, and we good at creating a story around some stuff. We run
with it, but that's all. With me, when certain things come, you definitely think outside of what you just read or what somebody just told you. You'll be like, oh, What really happened?
Right.
That don't really sound right.
Because I'll hear it and I'm like, let me go check.
Right.
And there I am.
But see, now that's you. Some folks hear it and run with it.
Yeah.
Or even if they don't run with it, it's still something in their head and they take it as complete truth when it might be just a little piece of the story.
Okay, so I'm gonna go way off topic. Okay. It's not even biased, but you saying how the story is told and then people run with it. I can't even remember the baby's name. The baby that was killed in Mexico by her
Shaquilla or something like
Shaquilla.
that. Yeah.
Right. And the video came out after they came home as to what happened.
Right.
And one of the other young ladies beat her. It wasn't a group of them that beat her. That one young lady, she was supposed to be fighting, but Shaquilla was not fighting back. And she didn't want to fight. And so pretty much right now, nothing's happening. But nothing's going to happen. Mexico, I read that they did ask the United States to extradite. So now the United States must get them. But if they don't get them to Mexico, nothing's going to happen because the United States can't do anything about it. Her family can file a civil suit,
but they can't.
Yeah,
but it happened in Mexico,
so they can't do anything here.
I think I'm thinking they're gonna round them up.
And I don't know what.
I'm thinking they're gonna round them up.
Know what happens when extraditing.
I don't think America would risk their extradition policies for no young Black kids. They gonna send them back. They gonna send them back.
Yeah, they're gonna come get them and send them.
Yeah, they're gonna send them back.
Put warrants out.
Yeah, they're gonna start. They working on it. Believe me, because we snatch. Sometimes we get drug dealers or people that murder across the border. We get them back. Yeah. So for that, they sending them. And this is the kicker. I was going back and forth with somebody on Facebook about this. Mexican prison is different.
And that's what I was getting to next. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. The whole situation is unfortunate. But
somebody said one is already on the way.
Right. It's unfortunate for these young people that they have to go.
They got to go to Mexico.
They have to go to Mexico.
It ain't the same. It's not the
same. I mean, I don't imagine any of them were on their way to prison.
Right.
But it just
the comprehension not going to be there.
Poor decision.
Especially if they can't speak Spanish either.
A poor decision in your life costs you your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your entire life. It's not like here they go to prison. They face some hard times in prison, but
it's gonna be different. That's gonna be different.
That's a next level.
They're gonna be. Somebody said they're gonna be begging to come back. I don't think they're gonna make it. I don't think they're gonna make it back. I don't think they you give them 20, 30 years in Mexican prison, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
I don't know how those kids are built. They're not making it back here.
No.
Unfortunately, it's so
and it's different. Ain't gonna be no packages coming, money getting sent. It's different. It's just different.
It's a whole nother world. Literally, it's a whole nother world. And so I just feel bad for everybody involved in that.
Right.
But I don't understand what they were thinking about. Not even just the young lady that was doing
it. Everybody there.
The recorded it.
I'm not. If I'm recording it, I'm taking it to the police.
Right, the other people that were there in the other room, nobody said anything.
How you do that?
Thought to say anything.
How you do that? That's that. Wait a minute. We was on it. That's that no snitching stuff. And I'll be talking about it when working folks want those street rules. Well, now you got them.
Yeah.
You ain't snitch. Now you got them street rules, and now it applies to you.
It is
now it applies to you. It's very sad because all I'm young.
Yeah,
all I'm young.
That situation.
Listen, they get ready to have it. But let's switch gears. Let's switch gears. So I want to get into Deon Sanders. He's made a choice to go to Colorado State.
Boulder, Colorado.
Yeah. So my thought is this. I talked to a couple of different folks, and I was looking at some posts. Some folks said it wasn't about the money because he definitely got more. It's a
business
$1 million or something like that.
$5 million contract.
It's a $5 million contract. Okay. So, but they said because he said, remember now, beginning the football season, he said it's not about the money.
Right.
right? That's what he said. Okay. And then they said that he wanted to go to a bigger school, meaning more opportunities for himself. Okay. And then he was talking about, he talked to his players about upward mobility and something about coaching. If you're not getting fired, you need to be moving up or whatever.
He said something like that.
Something to that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in my opinion, I don't want to say he's selling out. I don't want to say he's selling out because sellout means the money matters. But I'm gonna say his ego is highly involved in this decision based on how he acted with those young men, based on him going to those young men's houses and talking to their parents and telling them certain things about the program and what he was gonna do. Remember, he just got the #1 pick in the country. And now he leaving them. You think he told his parents that? They wouldn't have went there. They would have went to the big school with all the perks. He took the number and then left.
Well, because my thing, I don't think is necessarily tied to his ego per se. I can't say that.
Okay.
It's all business. It's business for him because beyond coaching for this college for Jackson State, as he was for 3 seasons, and now making the decision to go to Colorado, it's business because he wants to grow. He brought everything he could bring personally to Jackson State, and he did wonders with that team without the resources that he needed to do it.
I agree.
Now, if he take all of what he brought to that team and go to Colorado, who has the resources, think how big that would look. And he might be coaching an NFL team.
He definitely said he don't want an NFL team. College is where he's going. But the issue, the direct issue is, and I say ego because of history. He's an ego dude. He's that. He on the field, and that's right.
Don't let his confidence.
Right, but I'm saying that's who he is. So I know it's a factor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But he's going. The issue is I'm going from an HBCU to a PWI, right? And during this year, everything was. Remember now when the other brother came out, the other coach that he beat came out and said that Deon Sanders was not SWAC. And then Deon went on. That's the Southwest something conference that they're in. The athletic conference that they're in, which is which is considered a premier HBCU conference.
Okay.
He went through all of that talking about I am SWAC. If I ain't SWAC, and then less than a month and a half later, you not SWAC no more.
Right.
That's it. This is my opinion. That's disrespectful to the school. It's disrespectful to all that shit you've been talking to those students on video, pumping yourself up on social media with those young men, always carrying them, talking about consistency, talking about commitment, and talking about the things that got you to get them to do what you wanted them to do. And now it's, I'm out.
But he also talks to them about growth, and he has to personally grow himself. If he is as good as we believe he is, and I do think he is, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. He left them in a good space. This is like making a decision, your parents making a decision to divorce despite having you.
So question,
this is what
do you think we're going to go with the top 10 players that have full scholarships?
Do you stay for the kids or what? And no, what my thing is he going to take his son with him? Because the son, the quarterback on his team.
The son or the #1 pick.
Is he going to take
and that would.
Now, if he do that, then I would opt to be pretty much on your side about what you say. But I don't agree with what you say. I mean, he's good at what he does. And what he did for the team, for the boys personally, building them and all of that. I think they're good because of what he instilled in them, and that team will be good.
So you don't think him leaving, as much as he built them up, you don't think that's chopping them down some?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And will it affect them a little bit? Yeah, but they're going to be fine.
Maybe.
they're gonna be fine.
I'm gonna say
They
for the
didn't
most
just
part they
arrive
are.
there.
I agree.
Wounded.
Most of them are there because of him.
They
though.
are there because
And
of him.
now
But isn't every student there because of the coach
No.
for all the teams?
No.
So these recruiters didn't go in these people's homes and say,
say
send
perks.
your kid
Not
here
no,
because
no.
I can do this for them, I can help them and all. Nobody did any of
I'm
that.
not saying that. What I'm saying is, soon as you say Deon's name,
Yeah, his name
he's getting the attention because of how he's carrying it and what he's meant.
Colorado get ready to be.
Right. So again, now remember on the videos he's talking about the ticket sales that he got in different, all of that is getting ready to disappear from the HBCUs that he traveled to because he's not traveling to anymore. All of
he's
that
going to take his name and his persona with him where he goes, and that's going to be the Colorado. Now, what I wouldn't be surprised is if he didn't survive at Colorado. I wouldn't be surprised at that.
No,
because a lot of times people like him, those kind of institutions ain't ready for it.
Yeah, they're not ready. They're not ready for his person. No, they're going to try to make him fit into their bubble.
And you can't make that man fit. We've seen this man over the years. Do he look like somebody that's going to fit in their box?
Not at all.
He does not.
He
does not.
TikTok
I see. He doesn't look like somebody that's gonna fit in their box, and I don't believe he is. So I would not be surprised if it doesn't work out.
Now I'm gonna say this. Now we get all right. So this is what I don't know. This is what part of the subject with Deon and what you're talking about right now. Him switching. And how I relate it to how many folks that make it out of the Black community treat the Black community. Meaning, I'm gone because I'm good, even though I can stay here and build y'all up. But I'll do better over here because they have the resources to allow me to do better. But being here will be much more meaningful to everybody else, but it'll be more meaningful to me over here. That's how a whole lot.
Why can't you go build yourself up and then be able to make that transition and help the community that you came from if you so choose to do so?
That's the problem. They're not choosing to. That's what I'm saying. He's making a choice, right? He's helping the community, right? And this is what I was talking to somebody about this, and this is my opinion. Deon Sanders was almost the next Heathcliff Huxtable, meaning the influence he had on college and HBCUs, meaning the enthusiasm when he's touring around to these HBCUs. That was the Cosby Show in a different world, 100%.
Yeah.
That's what they did. Yeah. He was on his way to ascend to that level, but he's not anymore. He's taking it. He's choosing the other direction is away from the Black community. It ain't no way you can say it's not. It's away. There's still going to be Black players mostly on his team, but when he walked that campus,
I mean, it is what it is.
When he
feel like that's going to grow him as a person, he owed it to himself to do it.
I agree, but
I don't think it was a decision easily made.
I agree with that.
I don't think it was a decision easily made.
Right.
He's not a stupid man. He's very intelligent, and seeing everything that he's done, he brings a lot to the table.
A lot.
He takes care of all the people that he has around him. He's good at building teams. He's good at building staff. He's good at building people. So I think he'll continue to do that. But will the behind the scenes, the institution be ready for his style?
Or will he influence? Now this is what in my opinion, he's gonna be looked at on that campus more as a brand or a icon, and we got him now, more than a person that's influencing the student body in the way a Black man would influence Black.
So you don't think their decision to choose him was to benefit the team?
It's definitely benefiting the team and the school.
Okay.
That's what it's for.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm saying how the students are going to act towards him. We're talking about him just walking around campus and just
How they
doing.
going to perceive him?
They're going to perceive
In the
him
way that
as
he carries
we
himself.
got him. We got us a good black coach, and we got him from the HBCU. It's going to be a possession type thing, where we just loved him for being Deon.
But then they not ready for prime time.
They not.
I promise you, they not ready.
They
for
not.
Prime time.
They going.
I promise you, they not ready.
But regardless, he going. He
going
to see if they ready.
He going.
That's my.
Now,
go ahead.
Should it not work out if they aren't ready for prime time?
What he gonna do? He coming back?
Do he come back to the community?
See, that's bullshit.
Do he come back to the community?
The
community.
We're not gonna want him back. They JSU already made a song about him.
We should accept them back. We should. I'm not about throwing away our people.
I'm not saying no. I'm gonna take that back. When I say throw away, I'm talking about this. He'll get a job if he comes back. He'll get a job at HBCU with ease. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the energy that he has right now, the enthusiasm behind him.
You think some of his energy will be gone?
Not his. It's going to be diminished because he's not going to get the attention from it anymore. He can't.
He's going to have to. I think because, and the reason I say
people,
but the reason I say he's going to keep that same energy is because he's always been this way. He is him. And he's had himself, he hasn't always had it good. Yeah, he feeds off of people, but he hasn't always had the people. How did he get there?
If he fails at Colorado,
the way, because
it's not going to be the same.
Like him with the energy that he has, you don't have a good day every day.
Okay, so
but you have a method and a means of ways of pulling yourself out so that you can turn on.
Right. So I'm gonna ask you to think like a person in a relationship. So if somebody, you're in a relationship with somebody and they get their shit together and you help them out and they got their shit together and then they left you for what they thought was a better relationship and that shit ain't work out. And then
happens every day.
And then they come back to you and say, baby, bam. That's how the black community is gonna feel. And then let's say this. Let's say we invite him back. He will get a job if he fails at Colorado. That's not an issue. He'll get a job. But let's say the enthusiasm comes back and he do what he at another HBCU. The plan is going to be to leave again.
The plan is always to leave.
See? No, that's not true. That's not
true.
For who? That's what it's about. For who? It's not always to leave. It depends on who it is and their focus. And that's what I'm saying about what happens on the regular in the black community with those that can do, they choose not to, or they choose to get elevated and leave.
What are you saying?
I'm saying he's a powerhouse as far as influence in the black community right now. He's a powerhouse. Okay, so we could take athletes or entertainers on the same level that have influence and have that money that can back the influence, right? They choose not to come back and have a big influence. Yeah, they do some turkey stuff. They do something here or there. They're not building up and having that influence that Deon has right now. They made that decision not to.
Is it wise personally, because we talking about himself, is it wise personally to go into a situation? You want to go into a situation, a job, if you will, and make your mark and leave it better than you found it. Your goal is not to stay. I've never gone into a job like, oh, I'm going to be here forever. Yes, I'm going to improve it. Yes, I'm going to leave it better than I found it. But am I going to stay? No. For what reasons? It's not a heart thing. He didn't do it for that. It's business.
Then he was deceptive.
It's personal.
Then he was deceptive. Because when you go to them high school kids' house and sit down no, that's not what it doesn't. You asked me, well, how is it deceptive?
It's not personal. You can't go into those jobs. You go there for personal reasons. You want to build up your people and all of that, but you don't make your job personal outside of building these young men. You make your life about those young men, yes, to a degree, but you don't deceive them. But that's not deceiving.
That's deception.
It is not.
You cannot tell me if I'm the number one pick in the country.
As a former social worker.
That's deception.
Okay, I have a client and I'm with this client. This client done been through everything.
Right.
And I have this client. If I need to go, you think I'm gonna stay because I have this?
He don't need to go. That's different. That's different. That's different. That's different. You can't tell me that's not different. He don't have to go. He don't have to go nowhere.
I need to go. Yes. He might need to go because he might need to build himself up some kind of way, some reason. It doesn't have to be about money. Everything ain't about
I'm not
money.
talking about money. I'm talking about his influence on Black students. And we're talking about constantly talking about the Black community.
But he is still building himself. He's still
and he has to leave the community to do that.
And
that's
he
bullshit.
Has to leave the community
that's
to do
bullshit.
That personally himself, a decision that he has to make for himself. Bottom line, that's not deception because I'm gonna leave.
I'm gonna tell you, but I'm telling you the deception.
He don't.
I'm gonna tell you the deception. Yes, he does. When you get the number, but he didn't tell the children or their parents his business. He carried it like it was personal. When you come to my house and sit down and talk to me about my child coming to play football at your school, and you're telling me all this stuff.
He didn't tell anybody I'm gonna be here always.
I promise you,
I'm gonna stay at this school.
I promise you,
I'm gonna be there another 10 years.
Not 10 years. I promise you, he didn't tell.
I'm gonna see your kid through his 4 years.
I bet you he said that. I promise you, he said that, or they not coming. He didn't let them know it's a possibility I'm gonna leave next year.
Of course, who would do that? That's not deception.
That is deception on a personal level, not on a business level. It's very deceptive.
Interviewing somebody for a job.
That's not a job.
I've been my job.
That's not a job.
That is a job. What is it?
No. He's not interviewing. He's not being interviewed for a job. He's recruiting. That's not a job.
Okay, recruiting. I'm recruiting somebody for a job.
So it should be some honesty. It's a coach in school.
So I tell my person I'm interviewing, I want you to come to this. I want you to come here, but just to let you know, I'm leaving in a year. Come on, you ain't coming, man. That's the business aspect.
The personal aspect, but it's not business to those youth or their families. It's not business. It's not business at all.
They still in school a lot on a free ride. They're still getting their education. They may be deflated. I don't think they're hurt and upset. I think he put enough in those young men and he's talking to them enough. He said what he said in front of the cameras, but off camera, I believe he has a personal relationship with them, and they leaving them that, and they working through it.
He's working through it
with them.
We will never know because they are not going to come out and talk against him. They won't do that. It's a respect factor.
We're going to see those young men thrive in whatever they choose to do.
That's
not
true.
all of them will go to the NFL.
Most of them
will.
Most of them will.
And we might even hear some honest truths about how they felt about it 10, 20 years from now.
That's possible.
So, stay up. Wait, we'll see.
We know he ain't swag. We know that. He ain't swag.
I just learned what swag was. Just y'all saw.
But do you remember the little song come out when they were talking about when he came and visited? I can't think of the name of the school, and the coach felt the coach was a little shown up with Deon, meaning they sold it out only because that Jackson came, and Deon do what he do. You know what I'm saying? And I think the coach was a little upset about it. His ego was hurt. You know what I'm saying? And he said that Deon wasn't swag. Deon came out with a little clip talking about, I ain't swag. He started selling shirts. Then a month later, you ain't swag? That's bullshit. That's bull. I don't care. And see, and I now you tell me if I have I know I have this issue. How I look at men, specifically Black men. So in my mind, you can be a good man, right? You can be a good man, but that don't necessarily make you a good Black man. Meaning, when I break it down, I'm saying you a good man, meaning you're taking care of your responsibilities, you made sure your kids grew up nice, maybe a nice environment, did everything you're supposed to do as a father and as a husband or whatever, taking care of your family however much you can, right? Doing what you're supposed to do. But then you get into that brother lane, meaning you understand the community, you understand certain things are going on, but it's not moving you anywhere. You can complain about it here and there when you hear stories and you see certain stuff going on, but you ain't putting no money towards nothing. You're not popping up in those schools no time. You're not doing anything when it comes to your community. And sometimes You might chastise it when you see dumb shit going on without picking up a finger to help at all. I think that's, for me, that's two different lanes. I'm gonna give you respect on your man shit. But then when it comes to black men, that's a different category. It's just, for me, that's just how I feel.
I don't quite follow your logic, but I think I get it, because you're saying
we have to do more.
We, as a black community, have to do more
and we know
for our community.
And we know it. It's not an if. We complain about too much stuff not to know that. Not to know that somebody needs help here, or somebody, and this, and we're gonna go very basic with it.
But unless now, so, but how do we know he doesn't do for the community because he's not at the HBCU? Doesn't mean that he doesn't have other things that he do to contribute to the community.
I agree with you. And I'm not even thinking about Deon at this time, but I'm talking about just in general, the average working man.
Okay.
The average working man that got his money up and he moved to the burbs and he living pretty good. He's smart enough and intelligent enough to know where he was raised in his zip code is still messed up. Or when this, and he may have, and I just heard this guy talk about, he just gave away like 100 pair of tennis shoes. So you got all this extra income, but you're not sliding a little $50 a week for somebody to go to tutoring or
all to do that.
Right.
Everybody doesn't have the mindset to do that.
I agree.
There's a certain mindset that goes along with that. There's a certain something that could be, yeah, you come from this community,
right? But
were you connected to the community? You understand what I'm saying? Let's take, for example, what's his name? The doctor, the surgeon.
Oh, Ben Carson.
Ben Carson. So let's take him. He came from the community.
We were in the show on him.
I mean, I'm just saying. If your principle applies, I'm trying to get the logic behind your
He's
logic,
a good
right?
man. He's definitely not a good black man.
So he did a lot for the community with his brain surgeries.
He got accolades for the community. That ain't equal shit.
Didn't he operate on some
twins or something like that? Yeah, I'm not saying he didn't help individual lives. I'm not saying that.
And we don't know what he did or didn't do for the community. I mean,
we know what he didn't do when he was up under Trump ass.
But when people publicize this stuff, they just
remember he threw his wife under the bus.
Yeah, of course. They just show both.
She ordered that furniture.
They doing it for people to see and I don't think people should do it in the way that they do it. Like, here, I have this homeless guy and watch me give him my sneakers. Right. You can promote the fact that you
did it, but without putting them on Front Street like
without putting them on Front Street, because you should tell your story and show those things so that other people
can be encouraged
to do the same.
I agree.
So it's important to show that
as much as the negative shit.
Exactly.
I agree with you.
It's important to show that, yeah, I rolled up on a homeless person and gave them my sneakers, and I'm showing y'all this because I want you all to come. How about you come help this person?
Right.
Let's get this person off this corner. This person's on this corner every week, and every week I come by with a sandwich. Can y'all just help this person?
That's your part, though.
That's your part. But
I respect that.
You have to meet people where they are. Everybody don't have that same mindset. And everybody can't go because not everybody want help.
Listen, most don't want help.
You have to be a part of your own rescue.
I agree with that.
I can't want for you, then you want for yourself. If you want to be on this corner with your sign, you want to stay there? You could get enough money in a week and go get an apartment to pay for, and somebody give you an apartment to pay for a year, but you didn't want to live in an apartment.
But we could step down off the adults. We could just talk about just working with the youth in the community. We could just talk about those little mentor programs, the little things in certain schools where you could pop up and read a book, or have a best friend that you walk the halls with a couple times a week to talk to that young man and have him a little enthused. All of those little things is your part.
Yeah, your part.
But my issue is most don't want a part. Most want to go on and live their life the way they want to live their life.
Be who you want to see in the world.
I am.
Do
And I can't
part.
find enough of them motherfuckers.
You can't find enough. You want to recruit some.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, I know quite a few guys.
It's a lot. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna act like it's a
I
little
know
bit. I'm not
quite a
saying
few
that.
guys who does do a lot for the community.
Definitely.
Quite a few. And
But that's been your, I'm gonna say this as far as a tribute to you. That's been your circle for a very long time.
it has
You
been.
don't, I've known you for, I guess, a little bit over 10 years that we've been close,
Mhm.
and you don't have any nonsense around you.
No.
Like other people might have one or two knuckleheads in their
No.
group or
No.
things like that. So I agree with you that you probably do know a lot more than the average person would know. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. But that's how you got to do it. You have to do it. We don't have large groups of people that have like minds. We have to be individually who we want to see and
Right.
show up as who we want to see in the world, so that others are encouraged by what we do and who we are, and
Right.
do more and more and more. And if we at some point can come together as a collective and do what we do, because I hate the whole conversation that people want to have about who's going to be the next great Black leader. You're a leader.
Yeah, we don't need
You're
one.
gonna be the
We need
next Black leader.
500 of them.
We need,
Yeah.
you are the leader.
Yeah,
You are who you've been looking for.
I agree with that.
Be that.
I agree.
So I don't co-sign the whole idea about getting a leader. We surely can't have, so if we decide this person is our leader, then the masses have to agree with that too.
And that'll never happen.
And that won't happen. Because if that were the case, we
would have a leader.
Farrakhan.
Yeah, he would be the one.
He would be it.
Yeah.
If he would be so humble as to take that role on, and he does it from where he is. But again, the masses won't agree, because if the masses agreed, we'd all be like, yes, yes. But why does that have to be the case? Do what you can from where you are.
It won't be allowed to be the case. It's definitely going to be. It's definitely going to be in lumps, and you got to take a little bit over here, a little bit over there.
Do what you can from where you are and put in the work, because we definitely need to do more for our community. You know,
Black men. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, we've been cut off TikTok. Sorry for. Hope y'all came over, but this is the DG show with Dana Coco, live Sunday 7 to 8. TikTok, the Angry Black Dude. TikTok.
Coco, Audrey L.
You looking at me like I know. You need notes. You ain't know that. You took notes.
I didn't know that. Audrey Coco, Audrey L. Something like that.
We're gonna work on it. We're gonna work on it. Facebook, the DG show with Dana and Coco page.
I'm Coco Bling Things on Instagram.
On Instagram, we need to.
Audrey Coco La Misère on Facebook.
Can we get a streaming key for Instagram? We're gonna find out.
I'm not sure.
We're gonna find out. I don't know.
See.
Anyway, see ya.
Good night.